Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that literally impacts your health, your safety, and yeah, your wallet too. Verifying Pennsylvania cosmetology credentials. Did you know that nearly a quarter of full-time U.S. workers hold an occupational license? It's crazy. In Pennsylvania alone, we are talking about over 900,000 licensed professionals. It's a massive system, and understanding exactly how to navigate it as a consumer is incredibly empowering. So ask yourself this. Would you let a total stranger apply harsh, potentially dangerous chemicals to your hair or skin without any proof that they actually know what they're doing? Probably not, right? Yet, every single day, people sit down in salon chairs without ever verifying the credentials of the person holding the scissors, the hot wax, or the chemical treatments. Taking just a few minutes to verify a professional's license is a completely non-negotiable step to protect yourself from dangerous practices and serious scope of practice violations. Enter the Pennsylvania Department of State. Specifically, the Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs, or the BPOA, which acts as our regulatory shield here. They oversee 29 distinct licensing boards, and among them is the State Board of Cosmetology. It is absolutely crucial to understand that a license in this state is not just some fancy piece of paper hanging in a frame on a salon wall. No, it is a vital public safety shield. It's designed to ensure that practitioners actually meet established, rigorous standards of education, training, and ethical conduct. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start by looking at the PA licensing standard, then step through verifying a license, troubleshoot some common search mistakes, examine the risks of unlicensed services, hit you with some practical consumer tips, and wrap it all up with a final review and disclaimer. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the PA licensing standard. Before we can even verify a license, we really need to understand what it actually takes to earn one. Look at the sheer amount of work required here. A standard cosmetology license in Pennsylvania requires a minimum of 1,250 hours of instruction at a licensed school. Alternatively, candidates can complete a 2,000-hour apprenticeship. After all that extensive training, they then have to pass a highly rigorous written theory exam administered by Pearson VUE. Only after crossing all of those hurdles are they legally permitted to perform hair, skin, and nail services for compensation. This strict benchmark is exactly why checking for this credential gives you so much peace of mind. Moving right along to Section 2, verifying a license. So how do you actually tap into this state oversight system? Well, thanks to the Pennsylvania Right to Know law, this information is entirely public and honestly, incredibly accessible. Here is your foolproof 4-step guide to using the Pennsylvania licensing system, commonly referred to as PALS. Step 1. Simply open your web browser and go to pals.pa.gov. You don't even need to create an account or provide any personal info. Step 2. Just click on Verify a License. You can choose a person search for an individual stylist or a facility search for the salon itself. Step 3. Enter the provider's first and last name or their license number if you happen to have it. And Step 4. Review the results to check their official status and look out for any disciplinary history. Now, dealing with physical document fraud is a real concern because paper licenses can easily be lost, stolen, or completely faked. Because of this, Pennsylvania introduced a brilliant new tech feature. Physical licenses now feature a secure QR code. When you scan this code with your smartphone, it directs you to a unique URL that displays real-time, tamper-proof data directly from the state registry. This instantly prevents bad actors from trying to pass off altered or expired paperwork. It's a real game changer. Okay, Section 3, common search mistakes. Government databases can admittedly be a bit clunky sometimes, right? So let's make sure you avoid the usual traps. When you pull up a record on PALS, the absolute most important field to look at is the license status. Active means they are in good standing, you're good to go. Inactive just means the license isn't currently being used. However, if you see unregistered or expired, that means they failed to renew, and it is explicitly illegal for them to be practicing. Finally, if you see suspended or revoked, well, that means the board has taken serious disciplinary action against them. The golden rule here: never, ever accept services from someone whose status is anything other than active. You know what the absolute biggest mistake consumers make is? Searching the cosmetology database for medical services? So often, people will search PALS for someone offering cosmetic injections or laser treatments under the Board of Cosmetology. But those are medical procedures. They actually fall under the Department of Health or the State Board of Medicine. If you're going to a med spa for a medical treatment, you need to be searching for a medical license, not a cosmetology one. Next up, Section 4, risks of unlicensed services.
Why does scope of practice actually matter in the real world?
Notice the stark contrast here between what is covered and what is strictly prohibited. Covered services are your standard everyday things: hairstyling, facial waxing, standard manicures. But prohibited services for cosmetologists include things like microbleeding, laser hair removal, microneedling, and any injectable fillers like Botox. When a salon crosses these dangerous boundaries, they aren't just breaking some minor technical rule. Noncompliance can result in massive civil fines ranging from $1,000 up to $50,000. And more importantly, it puts your physical safety at immense risk. To give you a real-world example, back in November 2018, the State Board of Cosmetology issued a formal consent agreement that explicitly stated microblading is outside the scope of cosmetology. Performing it within a cosmetology salon is a direct violation of the Pennsylvania Code, specifically the rule prohibiting the use of a salon for other purposes. This absolutely is not a gray area. It is a strict, hard and fast regulatory boundary. That brings us to Section 5, Practical Consumer Tips. Let's get you equipped with some actionable insights you can take right into your next salon visit. So there is actually a very strict hierarchy when it comes to limited licenses in Pennsylvania. A full cosmetologist puts in those 1,250 hours and is allowed to do hair, skin, and nails. But an esthetician? They require 300 hours and are strictly limited to skincare, facials, and waxing. And a nail technician requires 200 hours and is limited to just manicures and pedicures. Knowing this hierarchy is absolutely vital. An esthetician is not legally allowed to cut your hair, and a nail tech is not legally allowed to wax your eyebrows. Knowing exactly what your provider is licensed for is key. Here is your rapid-fire salon safety checklist. Number 1, always verify both the individual practitioner and the facility itself. Salons have to have their own separate license and pass state inspections. Number 2, scan that physical QR code on the wall if you have even a sliver of doubt. Number 3, always check for disciplinary history on pals. And finally, a super important recent legislative update to keep in mind. Due to Act 100, as of late 2024, natural hair braiders are no longer required to be licensed in Pennsylvania. However, keep in mind that if a braider cuts natural hair or uses any chemical solvents, they still require that full cosmetology license. Finally, Section 6, Final Review and Disclaimer. We've covered a ton of crucial ground today on how to protect yourself. But before we go, I do need to deliver the official state disclaimer. While information on the PALS database is derived directly from the state and is updated daily, no posted information is intended to constitute legal advice. The Department of State assumes no responsibility for errors, and the mere presence of a licensee in the database doesn't constitute an endorsement. For the absolute most current information, you should always refer directly to the Pennsylvania State Board of Cosmetology website. And that's a wrap on this explainer. The power to ensure your own safety is quite literally right at your fingertips with the PALS system. So I want to leave you with this question. Have you ever looked up a professional's license and found a massive red flag? Or maybe you've encountered someone offering services way outside their legal scope. I highly encourage you to apply this knowledge the very next time you book an appointment. And please, share your salon verification experiences and stories in the comments below. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.